Everybody, and welcome back, folks, to King Caleb's special edition of me acting like I know football better than you fuckers. Which, anyway, back at it again in the new studio apartment. We'll talk about that later when Eric's not at work. Your boy's moved the fuck up in life, but yeah, back at it again. Football season is slowly and right now upon us, not slowly anymore. Thank God I'm recording this midnight Saturday, so the week 0 games are on. So I'm just going to do a rankings, as you see here, of every conference and the group of 5 in independence. I wanted to do every single conference, but I got lazy, and there's too many quarterback battles with some of these minuscule teams, Jacksonville States and shit. I mean, not them, but just these obscure schools that most of you don't even know, or schools in general. Like, I just can't. Hell, I can't for some of these teams, but we're gonna go with it. We're just gonna go down the lists here. It might be 30 minutes, it might be an hour. I'm doing this shit, so sit back, get a drink ski, Capri Sun, I'd prefer, and snacks. Where the fuck? Put this in your car. Make it a podcast listen. Unless you just want to see me pointing out these lists. So anyway, we're just gonna go 10 through 1. I'll try to make them somewhat short and sweet. So we're going to start with Daquan Finn out of Toledo. Great athlete. There were so many other people that I was also contemplating in this range. There's other people outside of the group of 5s, or in the group of 5s, that should be mentioned. It could be mentioned. We'll have really good years. A lot of people in the MAC and the American Conference, but this is just... These rankings are, I guess, more me projecting what everyone's going to be this year. So... let's see how consistent and inconsistent I am with that, and I'm evaluating this differently than when I do the NFL prospects. I'm just evaluating them as QBs in college, and the things that are valued in college as a quarterback as opposed to NFL, and that will probably be inconsistent. So make sure to call me out in the comments. But yeah, Daquan Finn out of Toledo, very good athlete. Very good runner out the MAC. He just needs to clean up his consistency as a passer. Has been under 60% completion percentage every year. We need to get that up, but good things. Taylon Green out of Boise State, another good athlete who can throw well, run when need be. And he stepped in when Bachmeier got hurt. As you see, he's up there, and he kept that job as it was enough to get Hank up out of here. So good things at him in the Boise State. They're going to be the favorites in the Mountain West, as they usually are. 8, I got JT Daniels out of Rice. I've not given up on him, folks. Everyone else has. I'm sure you guys didn't even know he was still in the college. And apologies if there's an echo, by the way, because we don't have much stuff in the living room. We wanted to make it minimalistic type beat. But yeah, he probably has the most arm talent out of this list. And you guys, I'm a whore for arm talent, okay? I don't care how many picks you're throwing. If you can fit a fucking needle through a keyhole, I'm gonna put you in high regard. But he doesn't really have big pick problems or dumb decision making. It's been injuries, and then people, USC. Keaton Slovis coming in, taking his job once he got injured, and then Georgia, he was undefeated. He is, or was, like, Georgia never lost when he was the starter, but when he got hurt, Stetson Bennett came in, took his spot somehow. West Virginia, he got hurt, and they're just not a good team anymore, as you'll see when we go to the Big 12 rankings. But yeah, I think he got some still good enough arm talent if he ever stays healthy. I know this is probably a shot in the dark. And they got some transfer receivers out of there. Luke McCaffrey comes of note. Yeah, well, we'll see. He's who I'm banking on he probably will sneak into my top 10 quarterback rankings in the NFL draft. If he has a somewhat good year, he'll be my sleeper of sleeper picks. So, yeah. Another good sleeper prospect, I got Hank Bachmeier out of Louisiana Tech. We talked about him briefly, but Boise State, pretty consistent his whole tenure there, but getting injured, I guess he wanted to get the hell up out of there. I don't know why, particularly, and especially to Louisiana Tech of all places, but hey, they've had some QBs going to the NFL, so maybe he thinks that'll be a better shot for him. We got Austin Reed, Conference USA's finest, out of Western Kentucky. Good, quick release with that offense. Nice, a lot of screens and quick little slant plays to Crawley and those boys. Got a good receiving core with Crawley coming back and some other guys, transfers in. But I think he'll have another prolific year. Frank Harris out of UTSA. Very good dual threat gamer, good leader. Has the road runners running, and that the American Conference is going to be very competitive this year, I believe. Then we got Curtis Rourke out of Ohio, the best of the MAC. Just the best passer in that conference. Good accuracy, smart quarterback, doesn't throw many picks. They'll be competing for the MAC. Then we got my boy Michael Pratt out of fucking Tulane, man. Baller last year. Making them go 12-2. He can do it all. Pretty good accuracy, not the biggest of arm, but he can still push it somewhat downfield. Good runner. He had 10 rushing touchdowns as well with their spread option game. Number 2, Grayson McCall, Coastal Carolina. He was flirting with transferring to a bigger school, but I guess he just loves it there. Again, a great athletic guy, can run when needed, can throw accurately, smart, high completion percentage, low interception rate. You love to see it. We'll see how well they do with Tim Beck now at the helm. They'll probably, it was more of a spread option. It'll probably be somewhat similar of an offensive scheme. So I think McCall will get comfortable in that offense as he was with. I'm blanking on the other dude's name. He went to Liberty, their old coach. And then number 1, Sam Hartman out of Notre Dame. Notre Dame's not in a conference, so I had to put him in this fucking thing, but he's by far the best, and he'd rank, say you put Notre Dame in the ACC, he'd be probably top 2, 3, But, yeah, good enough arm. He'll be an NFL prospect. Prolific passer at Wake Forest. Can, extend plays when need be. And, clean up on, I guess, some turnovers, ill-advised throws, too much gamer ball, but he likes to push the ball downfield, which we love to see. Now going to the ACC as we get everyone in here. We got Tony Muskett out of Virginia. They just announced he was a starter a couple of days ago. Don't know much about him. That's why we have him low. Number 13, Emmett Moorhead out of Boston College. He came in for Jerkovec a little bit last year, had semi-productive numbers. I just don't know what Zay Flowers leaving and Jalen Gill and some other receivers, if they got the tools to have him, succeed. Another guy that came in from injuries of Hartman is Mitch Griffiths out of Wake Forest. He looked pretty smart with the football. We'll see if he can, get to the next step with that. I think Wake Forest still has enough playmakers and a good scheme for him to have some productive numbers there. But we got Haynes King out of Georgia Tech, highly ranked out of high school. Obviously didn't translate at Texas A&M. Moorhead and Griffiths could definitely be better than him this year, but I've just seen a little bit more out of King. Whether that's good or not, we'll put him there in Georgia Tech. Hopefully, maybe for his sake, a fresh start will help him. Speaking of fresh starts, number 10, Grant Wells. He's just consistently a solid, average quarterback. Had some good moments in Marshall. Last year, Virginia Tech wasn't that good, but we'll see if he can bounce back. Number 9, Garrett Schrader at Syracuse, another solid quarterback, good enough accuracy. He's been there a while in the system. Who knows if they can make the next step? You got to replace Tucker at running back, so we'll see what they do there. Number 8, Jack Plummer out of Louisville. One of these transfers that's transferred all over the place. He started at Purdue. He was at Cal last year, had a pretty decent year. Pretty decent, good enough arm, I'd say, especially in college, to have a pretty good year. Louisville's a sleeper team in the SEC, we keep hearing, so let's see it. 7, like I said, Phil Jurkovec out of Pitt, was in Boston College, was in Notre Dame, has had injury histories, but he's a big, tough, stay-in-the-pocket quarterback, strong arm. We'll see if he can change his fortune, as well as Tyler Van Dyke out of Miami. Not a big fan of him at all. Especially, like coming into last year, people were saying he's a first-round pick, has this amazing talent. I haven't seen it. He does have a good arm. Nothing spectacular, but just for the sake, I do think he's more talented than all those guys, so I'm banking on with Josh Gaddis leaving, he'll look better. If not, Ja'Cory Brown, a highly regarded quarterback in this year's class, he'll probably play, and he might also be good, so we don't know. Number 5, Brennan Armstrong, NC State, another transfer from Virginia. Highly prolific, though. I think he has a lot of their records. I don't think it's much of a drop-off between him and Leary, if at all. So I think NC State will be consistently what they are, 7-9 win, just scratching in the middle or upper tier of the ACC this year. Number 4, we got Riley Leonard out of Duke. Very similar to Daniel Jones. Accurate quarterback, can run. Not an elite arm, but a good enough arm, smart IQ player. Got him at 4. So Jordan Travis now is at 3, Florida State. He is getting a lot of buzz. I'm not completely sold on his passing. Very good runner, though. Good enough passer for college. That's why we have him this highly, but I just don't think he has the upsides of my 1 and 2 as Cade Klubnik getting the starting helm from DJ Uiagalelei. And he was highly regarded as well coming out of high school. We saw him play fairly well, I'd say, in the times he did last year. Good runner, really good arm. I think he'll be one of the better quarterbacks in college. If not this year, definitely next year with all those guys leaving. And then number 1, Drake May. Elite arm talent, can run when need be. He's going to be a top 5 pick, folks. I don't know what else you want me to say. Big 12 time here, as we got to go all the way down here to fucking, I don't know why, Pages on Apple. If you guys have Apple, you don't get Microsoft Word, so you get Pages. So this was like a whole page, and it was a big ordeal, folks, of me actually setting this up. It was tougher than it should have been for me. But we got Garrett Green, 14 for West Virginia. They're still in a QB battle. They haven't named a starter. He's just the name you hear more. Don't know a lot about him. I don't think it's going to be a good year for them, unfortunately, because they're not a good team, and even then, their top receiver left. So, God bless them. Number 13, Hunter Deckers out of Iowa State. Average quarterback, can run, can pass, and apparently bets on games, so he might not even play. But anyway, number 12, this dumbass betted on his own games. And I think to lose, too, which is hilarious. But number 12, Alan Bolin out of Oklahoma State. This is another guy who's transferred. Started off at Texas Tech. Then he was at Michigan for some reason to be the third-string quarterback for 2 years. And then now he's getting the starting gig at Oklahoma State. He's a fine passer. I just don't think they have enough tools to make a run in the Big 12. Number 11, we got another guy who's transferred all over the place as well. Emory Jones out of Cincinnati. I remember him from Urban Meyer's last year and recruiting him. Started off at Florida, got beat out by Anthony Richardson, went to Arizona State to try to replace Jaden Daniels. Didn't work out so well. Might have had injuries, didn't play that well, but he's a good athlete. He's a good runner at least. So you'd think that they can do that down there without Fickle and see what other new schemes and stuff we can do. We got Blake Shapen out of Baylor. He's a gamer. He's a tough, spirited college quarterback. You know how those are, feisty fuckers. A little undersized, but he can run, good enough passer. Baylor will be competitive as they always do. Yeah. Number 9, Donovan Smith out of Houston, was originally at Texas Tech last year, played a few, very good athlete. Good arm, not great arm. We'll see how he replaces Clayton Tune. Number 8, Chandler Morris out of TCU. Coach told us he's better than Max Duggan because he was the starter last year but got hurt. So let's see if Sonny Dykes and the boys can run it back somewhat. I don't think so, but I am intrigued to see this TCU team this year. As we go to the top 7 now, we got John Rice Plumlee out of UCF as Keaton Slovis. Again, I just don't know why. I can't fucking make them learn the names or ignore the spelling. Anyway, John Rice Plumlee is from, start off as Ole Miss, quarterback, receiver, running back. He didn't know what the fuck he wanted to do. He was everywhere. He just wanted to be on the field. Lost the job, so he went down to UCF. Good athlete, very good runner, obviously, and then he's trying to improve as a passer. So we'll see there. UCF is getting good athletes and talent, though, so I think they'll be somewhat competitive in this league now. 6, Keaton Slovis, BYU. He's kind of like Tyler Van Dyke for me of the Big 12. I've never been high on him, but he does have a good arm. Not this great first-round talent arm. I've never saw that, but good enough to have him better than half the league here. As number 5, we got Tyler Shugg out of Texas Tech, undefeated as a starter. Everyone says Texas Tech sleeper team. Everyone's saying he's a gamer. He's a good dual threat quarterback. He'll have them in a lot of games this year. 4, Will Howard, smart, accurate, tough quarterback. The team willed around him when he replaced Martinez, so he got some leadership instincts in him. I think he'll be a solid quarterback for them. Number 3, Jalen Daniels out of Kansas. I might have mixed up him and LSU quarterback, but we'll be there when we be there. It's funny seeing Kansas State having top quarterbacks in the Big 12. But yeah, another good dual threat, good athlete, tough competitor, leader. They were undefeated for half the year. He got hurt a little bit. They kind of fell off, so he's everything for them. Number 2, my boy Dylan Gabriel, horns down, smart, accurate quarterback who stretches the field, can run when need be. Again, injuries messed him up a little bit in Oklahoma. God, I don't know what the fuck Venables was doing. Defense wasn't good. Offense was inconsistent. You'd hope that gets fixed this year. And the number 1, Quinn Ewers, folks. He'll be ranked highly in my NFL list. I'm telling you right now, he's as talented as anyone in this whole nation. If Sark can scheme it up with all those good receivers they got, Worthy, Mitchell, so on and so forth, even more, he's going to have big numbers and they're going to compete, and they might just be playoff contenders, folks, so watch out. I'm finally somewhat buying Texas this year solely on my belief that Quinn Ewers is going to be as good as I think he's supposed to be. So now we have the Big 10 here. We got Taven Jackson out of Indiana. He was a 4-star recruit that went to Tennessee. What the fuck? Obviously wasn't going to play because Hooker and Milton, but yeah, we'll see. We don't know. He's just so unproven, and they just don't have enough talent around him. I don't know if it's going to look particularly well. Same thing with Gavin Wimsatt out of Rutgers. He played a little bit last year. Didn't look, again, particularly good. Had more picks than interceptions. You can always clean that up. Somewhat mobile. We'll see. Number 12, Noah Kim out of Michigan State. Now with Peyton Thorne gone for whatever reason, he's going to get the helm. He's a pretty average prospect, can do a little bit of everything, not great at anything. We'll see. Number 11, Ben Bryant, Northwestern. He's been at ECU, Cincinnati last year. Pretty accurate. He's a solid average quarterback. He's not going to wow you anything. I think he's not going to particularly fuck it up for you. Same thing with Cade McNamara out of Iowa, obviously from Michigan. Lost the job to JJ. He just does nothing for me, folks. He's like Jimmy Garoppolo minus 20 for me. I don't know. He doesn't fuck it up for you, I guess, but he just doesn't really push the ball like that, doesn't move the chains like that. He's accurate, sure. He doesn't make dumb mistakes, doesn't throw picks. He's just game manager. We'll see with some semi-good weapons they got in the transfer portal, and then obviously Lachey at tight end. We'll see. But Anthony Kaleb out of Minnesota, I hope I said that name smoothly. He played pretty well for Tanner Morgan last year out of Minnesota. I think he's going to have some success, and Minnesota's going to compete. He can run. He's kind of like Blake Shapen, scrappy guy. He can run. He has pretty good accuracy, I'd say. So let's see what they do there. We got Luke Altmaier at 8 for Illinois, probably the most athletic quarterback they've had in a while. Pretty good arm, can run it. He was named the starter a couple days ago, maybe a week ago. I don't know why it was ever competition, really. He was from Ole Miss, so he's finally getting his shot. I think they're going to compete in the West, as a lot of people think they will. They got a good D-line. They got a lot of people to replace, though, from last year. Witherspoon, the Brown twins, so maybe not a lot, but those were very impactful players on their team. Number 7, Hudson Card out of Purdue, was at Texas, pretty highly ranked quarterback. Again, out of high school, can do it all. Had some injury history. I think he'll be pretty well suited there, though. Number 6 is the hype guy of this list, Jeff Sims out of Nebraska. Very good dual threat, good athlete, good arm. Just accuracy issues, but I liked him a lot out of Georgia Tech. I thought he had a lot of promise. And let's see what they do. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if he'll translate right away, but it should be interesting as we have another transfer. And if you haven't been to at least 3 schools, what are you doing? Tanner Mordecai out of Wisconsin now, originally at Oklahoma, and had very good success at SMU the past couple of years. Highly prolific passer. Now with Phil Longo there, Luke Fickell, they're trying to change up the offense, be more spread passing oriented. Even though with Allen, they're going to get a lot of running, I'd say, but they're going to be at least more balanced. He's an accurate quarterback. Traditional stand-in-the-pocket guy. I think he's going to do good things for them. 4, we got Talia Tagovailoa out of Maryland. Again, very good prolific passer. He's losing his top 2 receivers. Let's see if that hinders him, and it might help him. I don't know, because they're saying Maryland had the most drops from receivers, at least in the Big Ten, from what I heard. Maybe somewhere top in the league or in the nation as well. But pretty good athlete, just like his brother. Plays a little bit different, a little more backyardy, gunslinger mentality. So if you clean up on the dumb mistakes, he's still going to be one of the best passers in this conference as well. We have Drew Aller. I believe he was the top QB out of his class, the 2022 class, with Kate Kolubnik and a couple other guys we'll see on these rankings. Good arm, arguably the best just pure passer in the conference. That's why I'm very high on him. I think he's going to do good things. Their receiving core is, let's just say, unproven than past years, so we'll see who steps up, Cephas or any of the other guys that they've had in the program recently. So I have high hopes for him, as a lot of people do. Number 2, we have J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. Good dual threat. He's the most talented quarterback they've had since Chad Henne. I'd say, as an Ohio State fan. Good arm, not a big, great, huge arm. Can make throws, not extremely accurate. Has to clean up on his decision making, but he has moxie. He has the spunk that they say. He obviously, the team rallies around him, so he has that. He has that in him. I think there's glaring things he needs to work on to where I can't have him better than any Ohio State quarterback. We got Kyle McCord or Devin Brown. There's been a lot of hoopla, obviously, as a Buckeye fan. I've been hearing it this whole offseason. It was Kyle McCord's job to lose, highly rated 5-star prospect out of the same class as McCarthy, I believe the 2021 class. And Devin Brown has obviously crept up and caught up with him at least is making it close. McCord is a good standard stay-in-the-pocket quarterback. Can make all the throws. Devin Brown is a more mobile, runner, makes plays. Ryan Day's never had a bad quarterback, and he's never not had the best quarterback in the conference. I just don't. I'm sorry. You can call me biased all you want, but I need to see McCaffrey be way more productive and make way more elite throws to where I think he's the best quarterback of the Big Ten and then the first-round prospect. So whoever wins the Ohio State job will be the best quarterback in that conference. Bar fucking none. Pac-12, we got a great conference of quarterbacks. Sam Jackson, the fifth, is not one of them, unfortunately. We don't know, though. He's an unknown. Out of Cal, they just announced it a couple days ago as well, as I was Googling. God bless them. They're part of the prestigious Pac-4. We'll see what happens. They just don't have the athletes anymore. There's Cal players all over the NFL. They're just not on this team right now. Let's see if they can get better. Number 11 is Ari Patu and or Ashton Daniels out of Stanford. No, they didn't tell me who the starter is. They haven't announced it yet. Patu's been there longer. I would guess I would lean towards him, but even then, we haven't seen a lot of any of them. That's why we have them that low. Number 10, Jaden Rashada out of Arizona State. He was a highly touted recruit. Stop me if you've heard that in this fucking video. This year, he was committed to Florida, then some nonsense happened. I forgot, someone in NIL, I'm sure, left, going to Arizona State. I just think he's the better passer and prospect out of anyone else they have in that room. Number 9, we got Jaden DeLora out of Arizona. Very good quarterback, good accuracy, mobile enough, I'd say, in the pocket at least. Had Dorian Singer, obviously, and Jacob Cohen last year, so he had a very, very great tandem. One of the best in the Pac-12. Singer obviously went to USC, so we'll see. I still think Cohen is better personally, so we'll see how he does. And this is no slot on him, or no ill will that he's 9. In other conferences, he'd probably be higher. This is Pac-12, I think, is pretty stacked. As we have Cam Ward out of Washington State. Very good, impressive year in 2022. Let's see if he can become a better, more consistent passer and have the Cougs competing, I think he'll have good things. I just think other people are more established or just more talent, as we see here with Dante Moore out of UCLA. True freshman, 5-star, highly regarded. I just don't see how you don't play him. He's just too good. He's just better than anyone else on that team. I don't know what any battle would be. He's the young guy. You got to earn it. I get it. Number 6, Cam Rising, the 20-year senior. Tough, heart leader. One of those, he's one of the best, just wily veteran leaders that you have in the NCAA this year. good enough thrower, good enough runner. He's not going to be an NFL quarterback, but he's a vintage college quarterback, a guy you'd want on the team, wills the team to win, and have Utah having back-to-back Pac-12 championships. Let's see if they can go for the three-peat, as we have 5. Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado. 5 and 4 is the wild cards. I'm banking on the upside. Obviously, Deion's son obviously went to Jackson State. Comes over here where the big boys play. I think he has the tools and the talent and the arm to be successful in Division One. So he could probably rise on this list possibly this year. Number 4, we got DJ Uiagalelei out of Oregon State, obviously at Clemson, highly regarded 5-star, best in the class. Shaky up and down. Time at Clemson, I don't think he got developed properly, if you ask me. I mean, he has to clean up on his semi-mistakes and just reading the defenses. I don't think he wasn't like throwing like a billion picks, but just, be more consistent of a thrower. He has all the arm talent that you need to. He's mobile enough. 10-win team, Oregon State, so he's positioned into a good team there. They're going to compete and give all these other teams a scare, because I think Pac-12 is going to be very competitive in the last year. It's going to be fun to see. Number 3, who would have thunk, folks? Bo Nix out of Oregon had a very good year last year. I'm still not sold that he can be a consistent thrower of the football in the NFL, but he was looking like mini Johnny Manziel last year. We're not going to lie. So we had him ranked highly here. You already know, a very good dual threat guy. Troy Franklin, good receiver. So I think they got a 5 or 4-star. One of the higher recruits too at receiver this year. So let's see if he'll get implemented in. But my top 2, I got Michael Penix at Washington. I like him. I don't love him. I don't know. There's just something that I'm not hitching my wagon on, but very good, prolific passer with very 2 elite receivers. Arguably the second best receiving core. Washington, USC, LSU, they're all fighting for, against Ohio State. They're fighting for second, but I think he's solid. If he stays healthy again, I think he can work his way into a first-round pick. And then obviously the Heisman winner, Caleb Williams. There's not much to say. He's just the best right now. So we'll see how great he is this year. He replaced Jordan Addison with Dorian Singer, like I said, and you still got Brendan Rice and Mario Williams, and then another 5-star coming in. I just don't see how they don't have a great year. Yeah, so not Jaden Daniels there. But we have finally the SEC, Brady Cook out of Missouri. He was meh last year, average at best. I don't think you'll see much more of him, like a leap, AJ Swan out of Vanderbilt. Good athlete. Let's just, again, see more of them. We haven't seen that much. Connor Weigman out of Texas A&M. 5-star, I believe. Got Haynes King up out of there. I'm just not sold on Texas A&M. They just haven't proven that they can develop quarterbacks, which is why I can't have him any higher than this list. Then we got the Big Ten transfers first. Graham Mertz out of Florida. People thought he was going to be a very good, prolific, accurate passer out of Wisconsin. Just didn't turn out that way. Not very productive. We'll see if the fresh new start helps him out. I just don't think so. I'm sorry. Number 10, we got Peyton Thorne out of Auburn. He's simply okay. He's just simply okay. 9, we got Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson. Even Buckner, or even their freshman that they're talking about, I don't think he's going to play at all. Nick Saban, at least not starting. Nick Saban's shut that door pretty much. Jalen is a good passer, or not good passer, no. He very good athlete, great runner, very consistent as a passer. Ty Simpson is the more accurate passer, the more highly regarded Quarterback, when they were in high school, they'll probably start with Jalen, but I definitely will see. You'll see both play this year. I just don't see it. They got to pick. They got to find out who they got if they want to compete and win a championship. Yeah. Number 8, we got Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. Of course, went to USC. Pretty good dual threat, quick action thrower, quick thrower. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. I haven't breathed this whole fucking time, folks. But Sanders, for some reason, out of Oklahoma State, he transferred to Ole Miss. I don't know why, because he definitely would have been the starter at Oklahoma State. And then now he's competing at Ole Miss, and I don't think he's going to win the job. I think Dart's a better player. We'll see how Lane Kiffin does that, but I have Dart with the edge there. Number 7, Will Rogers, a very prolific passer with that Mike Leach offense. He's gone, obviously, unfortunately, RIP, and I don't know. I just think he was schemed up to have all these numbers. I just don't think he's as great of a thrower as everyone you'll see him top 5s usually for the SEC, but a very good quarterback, obviously veteran. He knows the offense. I just think these other guys have higher upside, especially in college, like KJ Jefferson, big, strong, tough, athletic quarterback. Clean up on the accuracies, you'd hope. But you'd think Arkansas is going to compete, especially with Sanders back at running back. So they arguably, I'd say, definitely have the best running back coming back in the conference. So we'll see how far they can go. Devin Leary, transferred to NC State, like we said. Solid, productive, smart quarterback. I just don't think Kentucky has the athletes to compete with the big boys. Number 4, Carson Beck out of Georgia. I believe he was highly touted out of Georgia, or out of high school. At least a 4-star. Had to wait his turn for with Stetson Bennett, but I think he's going to ride the ship. They might take a small dip with Todd Monken leaving, but you got Brock Bowers, you got some good transfer receivers coming in. I think they're still going to be good enough to, be in the playoffs, as they more than likely will be. Number 3, I got Joe Milton out of Tennessee. Let's see it. I'm not sold on him yet, but he does have elite arm strength, maybe the strongest arm in college. So let's see if Heupel can make him more consistent. Number 2, folks, we got Spencer Rattler. All right, it's Rattler season. I know a lot of people are down on him. A lot of people are down on him, have been down on him for a long time, but multiple things can be true at once, folks. Yes, he's had attitude issues. I think he's fixed that somewhat in South Carolina, been more mature. Yes, he's had consistency issues, reading defenses, just making smart decisions, but on the other hand, he is as good of a thrower of the football as anyone in the country, folks. It is what it is, folks. He has a top 5 arm in the nation. And he balled out the last 3 games. Upsets against Clemson and Tennessee. Played really well as well in a loss to Notre Dame in the bowl game. So we'll see. Hopefully he can ride that wave. In my agendas will be pushed consistently, folks, if that's the case. But number 1, we have Jaden Daniels. I think he'll be the more surefire, steady quarterback in this league. Very good dual threat. And with Neighbors and all the other Taylor at tight end and some other young guys stepping up to the plate, I think Brian Kelly will put him in a good position. So that's been 60-odd quarterbacks. Your boy King Kale's back. I'll be back with more shit. Obviously, I'm going to do a tier/rankings of all the NFL quarterbacks as well. That'll be fun. I'm sure you guys are going to hate that list as well as this stuff. But as always, folks, this has been your boy King Kaleb here, signing the fuck out.